and I'll show you how to set up VoiceAttack. All right, so let's assume we've got a brand new trial version of VoiceAttack. You can't do any profiles with a trial version of VoiceAttack. You can't add any profiles, delete profiles, rename profiles, import or export profiles. The trial version just gives you one. So we're going to make a brand new one here. Here we go. Blink. Going to move our screen over. And we're going to call it trial. There you go. So you get a trial. There are no commands in it. Now you can edit that trial. You go over here and create a brand new one. So let's assume that you're going to be using it in Star Citizen and probably Elite Dangerous or various other space games. So let's make a new command, and we're going to call this one landing gear. Landing gear. So when we say the words landing gear, you're going to press a key, and that key is going to be in, like November. And we're going to take it off from 1 second to 0.1 second. There we are. There we are. We're going to make a new category. We're going to call it ship controls. There we are. The rest of this you can leave at the default. I'm going to hit OK. Now, when we say those words, it should press the N key. So let's test that. Let's open up Notepad. And we will use Notepad as our guinea pig. Here we are. Done. Landing gear. Look at that. She pushed the N key. All right. So there we go. There's one command. So now let's add a new one. That's another command that we frequently use when we're flying space games. Well, let's use one that would be really, really handy in the middle of combat. Let's go power to shields. All right. And when we do that, the key code for power to shields in Star Citizen is F6. There we are. So now and the category for this one is ship controls. Now, when you do that in Star Citizen, the game doesn't tell you you've boosted power to shields. You just say it and you question whether she heard you or not. So we're going to edit this command a little bit more. When we say this, we're going to add another one. We're going to go others. We're going to go sounds. We're going to say something with text to speech. And we're going to say this. And we're going to preview it.
Power to shields.
That'll work. So now when we say that, she should do it, or it should do it, and then tell us it did it. That way we know that it actually did it, instead of questioning it in the middle of combat. We don't need it to give us an audio clue on landing gear, because your ship will tell you if the landing gear gets there. So let's do another command, and we're going to call this one balance power. Okay. And when we do that, it's going to push the F8 key. And we're going to add another one called other sound, say something with text to speech. And that one's going to be power equalized. There we go. So now when we boom hit that, she should balance the power between engines, shields, and weapons and tell you power is equalized. Equalized power. There we go. And guess which category? Ship controls. You got it. There we are. So there's balance power. There's power to shields. two that are very, very useful. Let's try these out. Now, we won't be able to know if she's pushing F6 or F8 here, but we can listen for the audio clues. Power to shields.
Power to shields.
Balance power.
Power equalized.
Cool. So let's say that we don't like balance power, that we're like, I don't know that I'm going to remember to say it that way when I'm in the middle of combat. So let's give ourselves some options. Let's add something in here. So now we just add a semicolon at the end of the first word, a space, and the next phrase that we could use for this. Gonna hit OK, gonna hit apply, gonna hit done. Balance power.
Power equalized.
Equalize power.
Power equalized.
There we go. So either way works. Now, there's a cleaner way to do that command. There's a cleaner way to do that command. So let's show you something. So the semicolon tells it we have a choice. But you notice in that command we have two words. We have one word that is replicated between the two. Power. So let's clean this up. I'm going to open an open square bracket, balance, a semicolon, and the word equalize, and then a closed square bracket, and now power. So that tells VoiceAttack if I say balance or equalize and then follow it immediately the word power, do the same command. It gives you some options. Because when you're in heat of combat, you may not remember exactly the way that you want this said. So we'll do it like that. So now let's test it. Balance power.
Power equalized.
Equalize power.
Power equalized.
There we are. So now let's rinse and repeat and add some more commands that are going to be pretty useful to us in a heat of combat. So let's see here. Oh, how about this? Shields front. Or, if we're in a heat of battle, front shields. There we are. And when we do that, when we say that, we want to hit the number 8 on the numeric pad. There we are. There we are. And ship controls. Ta-da! And obviously, we wanted to say something so we know that it heard us and we know that it did it. So we're going to say something cool like boosting front shields.
Boosting front shields.
Let's say that we want to give her choices where, well, not really choices, but make it so that it's a little different. We can say boosting front shields, boosting forward shields.
Boosting forward shields. Boosting forward shields. Boosting forward shields.
I want to hear her say the front part.
Boosting front shields.
Okay, so now when we say that, she could say either boosting front shields or boosting forward shields. Either way. Mixes it up a little bit. So now we can say shields front, front shields. Nice and quick. And she should hit the numeric 8 pad. Boost front shields. Shields front.
Boosting front shields.
Okay. Forward shields. Front shields.
Boosting forward shields.
There we go. So notice that I said something and she didn't understand me. We're going to edit this a little bit because I want this command to work in the heat of the moment in a variety of circumstances. So we're going to add this. I'm going to say right in here, open square bracket, front, forward, shields. So now we can say shields front or forward shields, and that'll work. There. That's a little more intuitive, I think. There we are. Shields front.
Boosting forward shields.
Excellent. Front shields.
Boosting front shields.
Forward shields.
Boosting front shields.
Good deal. All right. So there we are. There's a couple of simple little commands that we're going to use quite a lot in the heat of combat. All right, so let's add some others. Let's see here. What would be another good one to have in our list? Well, let's do... Oh, let me show you a little shortcut. Open contacts. Notice that it didn't do anything. We haven't added that command yet. But if we double click that one, it will by default try to open up a new command. There we are. So look at that. It did half the dirty work for us. So our key press now is going to be F11. Got it. We don't need an audio clue because we see it happen. We're good to go. And this one is actually a mobiGlass command. There we are. So now we have commands that will open up our contacts for us. We have commands that will boost our forward shields. We have commands that will increase power to shields. We've got commands that will equalize the power distribution again. We got a command that will raise and lower the landing gear. Pretty good start, I think. So that's just some quick stuff that you can do with VoiceAttack. Now, the same thing applies with Elite Dangerous. What you could do is right in here, if you have one profile you're using for Star Citizen and you want to use the same thing for Elite Dangerous, you can open up your Elite Dangerous, go into your configuration, double click the one that you want to change the keybind for, and then speak the command that you've already set up, and it will push the key for you. So let's say that in Elite Dangerous, I believe the default landing gear key is L, like lemur. If you wanted to make the same profile work for both, you could adapt either Star Citizen or Elite Dangerous to use this. It's just a matter of mapping your keybinds. So what I'd recommend is pick one that you like and use it between the two. Now those are just some basic commands that I use. I've got a profile that I've created right in here.
Star Citizen 3.10 profile now active.
Cool. I added that so that I would know which profile was loaded, kind of a little subtle reminder. Hey, Pagan, you've got this one loaded. And there's a bunch of commands that I've added in here, like target or select nearest or closest attacker. So let's look at that command because it's a little bit complex. All right. So in this, I can say target or select. Then the next word needs to be either nearest or closest, and the last word needs to be attacker. So if I say target nearest attacker, boom, she will hit appropriate keys, which is Alt and 4, by the way. And then she'll tell me. Closest attacker selected. So you notice the usage here. Now, the astute in you probably noticed that there's a semicolon in front of the word target. And the reason why that semicolon is there is that tells VoiceAttack that that entire bracket is optional. So I can say target closest attacker, or I can just say closest attacker, or I could say nearest attacker. So if you lead those square brackets with a semicolon, that tells VoiceAttack whatever's in those square brackets can be nothing or missing, or it can be the first choice or the second choice or the third choice. So you would separate those by brackets. So it's bracket option 1, a space, bracket option 2, a space, and then of course the 3. So this is just one of those that I've set up here. I will make this available if anybody wants to use it. I've got stuff for next target, next attacker, clear target, toggling the gimbal mode, pinning targets to slot 1, recalling slot 1, even got some emotes. Let's look at a really cool one. Let's look at the emotes. The emotes are a little different. What we do with the emotes is we say, okay, well, we want choices. I don't want it to be the same dance emote every single time that I say it. I want it to randomize it a little bit. So what we've done is we've told it to choose a random number between 1 and 6. We're going to edit this and bring it up real close so you can see. So here we are. And this uses a quick input. A quick input allows you to enter multiple keystrokes at one time rather than going push this, now push this, now push this, now push this. So you can put it all in one. It's really good for like chat commands or something like this. So what I would recommend is if you're going to do the emotes is use the quick input option. And then of course you're going to need to start it with the enter key so that it knows you're typing in chat. And then /dance, and then we're going to start with an open square bracket and the word random, and then a colon and the number 1:6 closing square bracket. What that does is it tells VoiceAttack, bang on the enter key first. Now hit a / and the word dance, and a random number between 1 and 6. When you pick the random number between 1 and 6, when you're all done with that, bang on the enter key again. So that is a real quick emote for dancing. Now notice that we didn't choose key press for that. We chose other. Uh-oh. And look at that, Star Citizen just crashed. Wah, wah. So we'll relaunch it. There we are. Come on, let me get in there. And that's a quick input right there. So you go other, VoiceAttack, action, quick input. That's how you can do emotes. So I have mine set as emote dance. We could actually make this choices. We could say dance emote. Let's go back to VoiceAttack. Where are you, VoiceAttack? Come back here, VoiceAttack. There it is. So we're going to say emote dance or dance emote. Either way works. And she doesn't need to give us any kind of audio clue because we're going to see the guy dancing on stream. So let's edit this one here too. We're going to say Emote Salute or Salute Emote. And the same thing applies. Quick input, enter, salute, random 1 to 2. What I would recommend you do is look up the emotes. They're available on the internet. Just basically literally Google it, Star Citizen emotes. There is a long list. There's ones for being rude. There's ones for... I'm trying to remember what it was called. How do they verbalize the ones for farts? Let's find out. One of them was really funny. I love to see people do it. I think smell or something. Yes, it's smell 1 or 2. So let's make an emote for smell 1 or 2. Let's go in here. We're going to make a new command. We're going to call this... Actually, we're going to call it fart emote. And we probably should make it smell emote too, just in case. And we're going to go to other, VoiceAttack action, quick input, open square bracket, enter in capital letters, closing square bracket, / smell. And now what we said, open square, random, semicolon 1, semicolon 2, close square bracket, another open square bracket, and the word enter in capital letters, and a closing square bracket. There. There we are. And what category should we call this in? Emotes and chats. Now, let's say that we want to be cute because we stream. And we'll say this.
Somebody cutting cheese? Who farted?
There we go. So now when we use this emote, it will do it, and then she will say it. And that's just really quick. One that's really, really handy, like I said, the combat, really handy, nice to do that. Balancing and forward your shields, power to weapons, all of those are really, really good and handy. All you need to do is open up your keybinds. I would recommend taking a screenshot of your keybinds, having that up on one screen, or even split your screen and then just go through the list one by one by one. There you are. So scan mode's a good one. Toggling your decoupled or coupled mode, those are really handy ones to have, especially when you're in combat. The refinery order, don't worry about that one. That's just something I was working on as a side project. Your pin slot ones. There you go. So there we are. Apply and done. So let's export this real quick. We don't want to import. Let's export. And let's select all, but we're not going to do this one because it's still in progress and I don't want it to cause problems for anybody. So we're going to take these out. Later, when I get it working correctly, I'll share it with people if they want it. There we go. Just make sure we've got it. I'll leave the testing in there because it's handy. And I'll leave the stop all commands in there because that's really handy. Is there anything else in there that I was working on in development that might be a problem? Let's see. Yep, we don't need that anymore because they fixed it and now the ship appears on our HUD. So we don't need those anymore. And this one is problematic, but I'll leave it in there. There we go. And I'll explain why it's problematic. So we're going to call this and 03, 04, 20, 21. I will make this available. I'll put it on a Google Drive and share the link. That way anybody can use it if they want to. But there's a command in there that lets you request landing or request a pad. The problem with that command is that it makes assumptions about your screen resolution and where your mouse cursor is going to be. So if you try to use that, you're going to need to edit it. You will definitely need to edit it. You're going to need to set your game resolution where you're typically going to play it. And then, let me see if I can find it real quick. Here it is right here. So what it does is it pushes the F11 key, lets go, waits 1 3/4 seconds because sometimes it's a fast action, sometimes it's a slow action. Then it moves the mouse cursor to a certain screen coordinate, where on my screen at my resolution the friends button would be, and then it clicks the mouse button, then it waits, and then it moves it to another place, and it clicks the mouse button and it waits. So I really would recommend, if you're going to use that you edit those mouse low locations if you're not running 1920 by 1080. And even if you are, you may need to edit it a little bit. So just be careful of that one. But those commands are available. I will put them on Google Drive and then share it so that you guys can access it if you want to.